In the quiet town of Ashbourne, secrets linger in the mist, woven into the fabric of the land and whispered through generations. Here, rain falls in heavy sheets, drumming against the tin roofs and saturating the fields with the weight of memories long buried. The countryside stretches outward, hemmed in by rolling clouds, dark, brooding, and relentless. At dusk, the village is a tapestry of muted colours, the world reduced to shades of grey and blue, as if the evening itself mourns something lost. In the backyard of an old farmhouse on the edge of the village, young Ethan digs into the mud, his small hands gripping the worn handle of a shovel. He is 12, on the cusp of understanding, yet still innocent enough to chase mysteries hidden in the earth. Each shovel full of mud is a step into the unknown, a challenge to the silence that hangs heavy over Ashbourne. His grandmother's house is a relic, its walls lined with faded photographs and shelves crowded with artifacts from another era. The garden, wild and tangled, is Ethan's playground, and tonight, as rain slicks the soil, he is drawn to a patch under the ancient willow tree, a place his grandmother always warned him to avoid. Undeterred, he digs deep, the shovel biting into dark, wet earth until it strikes something solid. The sound, a metallic clink, echoes through the quiet, sharper than thunder, more ominous than the caw of distant crows. Ethan brushes away the mud, his breath catching as he uncovers a tarnished gold locket. Its surface is engraved with symbols unfamiliar, swirling lines and shapes that seem almost alive. The locket is cold, far colder than the ground itself. Ethan lifts it, holding it up to the muted light, marveling at its weight and the way it seems to pulse in his palm. He whispers, his voice barely louder than the rain. "Whoa, this looks ancient." But the locket is more than a simple trinket. It is a key, a vessel, a curse. Its story does not begin with Ethan, nor even with his grandmother, but a century earlier, when Ashbourne was a different place, a town gripped by fear and superstition. 100 years ago, the locket belonged to Margaret Vane. Margaret was a woman of fierce intelligence and unyielding will, feared and shunned by her neighbours. They accused her of witchcraft when misfortune struck, blaming her for the blighted crops and the sickness that swept through the barns. Margaret did not deny their charges. Instead, she stared through them, her eyes cold and intense, her spirit refusing to break. In the shadow of torches and angry voices, Margaret uttered a vow. Her words, whispered in a language few understood, carried a sinister promise. "If I cannot live, I will take the living with me." The villagers tried to rid themselves of her, but Margaret's soul did not depart. Instead, she bound herself to her locket, a symbol of defiance, a talisman of vengeance. And so her spirit lingered, waiting for the moment when someone, unwitting and curious, would disturb her resting place. Now, in the present, Ethan stands at the crossroads of these old sorrows. He brings the locket into the farmhouse, its presence inconspicuous amid the clutter of forgotten heirlooms. But as night falls and the rain quiets, something shifts. The air grows colder, the shadows deepen, and whispers begin to weave through the silence. In Ethan's bedroom, moonlight casts pale blue shadows across the floor. The locket rests on his bedside table, its golden surface catching the faint glow, almost as if it breathes in the darkness. Ethan drifts into sleep, but the peace is fragile. Soft, distant whispers begin to stir. His name, spoken so gently, it could be the wind. "Ethan." The voice is both familiar and foreign, echoing beneath the surface of dreams. He wakes, startled, eyes searching the room. There is no one there, only the sound of rain against glass and the faint whispering that fades before he can fully grasp it. At first, the voice is nothing more than a curiosity, a fleeting shadow in the night. But as days pass, the whispers grow bolder. They begin to ask for more. A presence, a touch, a promise. Compelled by something he cannot name, Ethan slips the locket around his neck. The metal is icy against his skin, and as the clasp clicks shut, a sharp breath draws through him. The room temperature drops, his breath visible in the air, and a sensation settles over him, a weight, an awareness, a hunger. From that moment, Ethan is changed. He begins to avoid his friends, his laughter replaced by muttered words and vacant stares. At night, he tosses and turns, his sleep broken by strange utterances and restless movements. His eyes darken, their colour shifting subtly, as if shadows have taken root within them. His mother notices the difference, her voice strained with concern. "Ethan, what's wrong with you lately?" Ethan responds, but his voice is not his own. It is colder, deeper, unsettling. "Nothing, Mother." The spirit within the locket has found its vessel, and Margaret Vane's hunger begins to awaken. The house is no longer safe. Mirrors crack without warning, thin fissures spiderwebbing across the glass. Furniture shakes, rattling in the dead of night, and family photos burn at the edges, the flames consuming the faces and memories within. Laughter, distorted female, echoes through the halls, a sound that chills the blood and unsettles the soul. It is no longer Ethan in control. Margaret is back, her presence filling the rooms with malice and intent. She wants revenge for a century of isolation, for the betrayal and fear that sealed her fate. The locket's power surges, feeding on the turmoil, the pain, the growing despair. Desperate, Ethan's family seeks help. They turn to the church, its ancient stone walls a sanctuary against the darkness. Inside, candles flicker, their flames casting long shadows across the pews. Father Thomas, the village priest, listens to their story, his face grave, his voice low and solemn. "If this is truly Margaret Vane," he warns, "we are not fighting a ghost, but a soul that refuses to die." Preparations for the exorcism begin. Night falls, shrouding the farmhouse in silence and apprehension. In a candlelit room, Ethan is tied to a chair, the locket pulsing with a faint, ominous red glow. The air grows heavy, the wind building within the walls, rattling windows and stirring dust. Latin chanting fills the space, ancient words spoken to drive out the darkness. Margaret, speaking through Ethan, screams in rage and defiance. "You will not take me again! I am eternal!" Her voice is layered, echoing with centuries of bitterness and pain. Black smoke pours from Ethan's mouth, twisting upward as the locket levitates before him. Candles flicker violently, their flames stretched and distorted by the force within the room. Father Thomas shouts, his voice cutting through the chaos. "In the name of the Almighty, release this boy!" The chanting crescendos, a battle between light and darkness. An ear-splitting shriek fills the air as the locket bursts open, flooding the room with blinding light. Shadows scatter, the wind dies, and silence returns. In the aftermath, the farmhouse is quiet once more. Weeks pass, and the sun shines over Ashbourne. Ethan laughs in the yard, his spirit seemingly restored, the weight of the locket forgotten. Birds sing, and a gentle breeze sweeps through the fields, carrying with it the promise of peace. But as night falls, the old rhythms return. Ethan sleeps peacefully, his dreams untroubled for the first time in months. Yet in the shadows, the locket waits. It sits in a drawer, its surface faintly glowing, pulsing with a light that is neither gold nor red, but something older, deeper. The whispers begin anew, softer now, but persistent. "Ethan, did you miss me?" Some evil never truly leaves. It lingers, waiting for the right moment, the right vessel, the right weakness. It is patient, biding its time in the quiet places, beneath the everyday noise, in the spaces between waking and sleep. Ashbourne is peaceful, But the darkness remembers. And as thunder rumbles in the distance and whispers curl through the night, the story continues, unfolding, inevitable. Ethan dreams of forgotten places and voices he cannot name. The locket calls to him, its symbols shifting in the darkness, promising power, connection, eternity. He wakes, heart pounding, uncertain if the nightmare is over or just beginning. The farmhouse stands, silent and unyielding, holding its secrets close. Outside, the rain returns, tapping softly against the glass. The crows call to one another, their voices sharp and mournful. The countryside is quiet, but the air is charged with possibility, with fear, with hope, with the knowledge that some relics are best left buried. In the years to come, stories will circulate. Children will whisper about the old farmhouse and the boy who found the cursed locket. They will warn one another not to dig near the willow tree, not to listen to the voices after dark. But curiosity is a powerful force, and some secrets are too compelling to ignore. Margaret Vane's legend persists, growing with each telling. She is the shadow at the edge of the field, the chill in the night air, the whisper in the back of the mind. Her locket remains, a symbol of defiance, of vengeance, of a soul that refuses to rest. And so, Ashbourne endures, its peace fragile, its future uncertain. Ethan grows older, but the memory of the locket never fades. He dreams of Margaret, her eyes cold and intense, her voice echoing with promises and threats. He wonders if he will ever truly be free, or if the darkness he encountered will someday return, stronger and more determined. His family watches him, hopeful but wary. They speak in hushed tones, remembering the nights when laughter turned to screams and warmth to ice. They keep the locket hidden, but its glow never diminishes, a constant reminder of what lies beneath the surface. The church stands, its candles burning through the night, its bells tolling in warning and remembrance. Father Thomas ages, his hair turning silver, his hands growing unsteady, yet he remains vigilant, knowing that evil is never truly vanquished, only delayed. And in the quiet corners of Ashbourne, the whispers continue. They weave through the fields, slip beneath doors, curl around sleeping children. They wait for a moment of weakness, a lapse in vigilance, a spark of curiosity. For in Ashbourne, some secrets are buried for a reason. Some objects are better left untouched, and some stories never end. They simply begin again, in the rain, in the darkness, in the endless patient silence. If you enjoyed this story and appreciate the hard work that goes into creating it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us continue bringing you thrilling tales and mysterious adventures. By subscribing, you'll never miss an update, and sharing with friends helps our community grow. Every like and comment lets us know you want more content like this. Thank you for being part of our journey and fueling our passion for storytelling.